If Emma Grede is known for launching successful businesses, Layla Hormozi is known for scaling companies to $100 million, and Rachel Rodgers is known for We Should All Be Millionaires, what are you known for? By the end of this video, you will know how to become the household name in your industry, because let's be honest, in the business of business, in the creator economy, being forgettable is worse than being disliked. If you're forgettable, people are not buying from you. They're not sharing your work. They're not talking about you. They're not even thinking about you, which means you're spending hours showing up and posting on social media for nothing. And here's a reality check. Whether you have a business, whether you're a creator, you're a coach, you're a service provider, we're living in a time where everyone is doing the same thing. We're on the same internet. We have the same niches. We're talking about the same thing. But why is it that certain women stand out and are dominating, while others, maybe even you, are stuck in the background, not getting the same opportunity? It's not because they're more talented, it's not because they're lucky, or even because they're more beautiful. It's because of their brand. And I'm not talking about having millions of followers or always going viral. What I am talking about is being known and recognized for whatever it is that you talk about or whatever you offer. If somebody says generational cycle breaker, they think of you. If somebody says esthetician, they think of you. If somebody says vocal coach, confidence coach, manifesting coach, they think of you. And what I see a lot of coaches, creators, and service providers do is working in hustle mode, where they think that in order to have a successful brand or business, they have to do the best, be the best, post more, have the best camera quality. But there's actually an easier way that your competitors have mastered, which is why they have the success that they have. And when it comes to branding, the most important thing that you need to realize is that your looks matter. Not in the sense of conforming to societal beauty standards, of a specific body type or skin tone. On social media, people see you before they hear you. Before they've even got to your message or heard what you've got to say, they've already made assumptions about you because of the way that you look. That is just human psychology. They've already created a perception about you before they've even watched your content, before they even know what you talk about or what you sell. Which means if you want to become the household name in your industry, you need to start thinking about your visual image the same way that the top 1% women and successful female entrepreneurs do. So what is a visual identity when it comes to branding? It's a combination of your unique beauty, a memorable aesthetic, and repetition. It's not your logo, your font, wearing designer labels. Every successful woman with a personal brand has a visual identity that's unique, memorable, and repeated. It might be their hairstyle, the blush that they use, their lip color. It could be their filming angle, editing style, branded space, their mannerisms, or a combination of all of those things that create their world. Instead of trying new things every single time they show up on camera, they repeat the same things over and over and over again. It's through that repetition that makes them memorable. And memory creates recognition, and recognition is what makes you a household name. So here's exactly how you're going to build your own memorable and recognizable visual identity. The first thing you want to do is to identify your unique beauty. Features of your physical appearance that's distinct to you. Features that you love about yourself, or features that you receive the most compliments about. And this is where I usually receive comments like, but what if I'm not beautiful? What if I'm ugly? Which means you've missed the whole idea of having your own unique beauty entirely, because it's not about conforming to societal beauty standards. I might not meet societal beauty standards, but I identify as a beautiful woman because of my unique beauty, my dimples, my skin tone, my fuller lips, my hourglass figure. If you have a negative self-image, you will really struggle with this, because your go-to will be, I don't have features about myself that I love. I don't receive any compliments from people. When you identify your unique beauty, this is the foundation of your visual identity and sets the tone on how you show up online and how people perceive perceive you. The next thing you want to do is to create a signature look. Now, I know you're already thinking, well, I already have a personal style, or I don't want to have to spend hours thinking about what I need to wear on camera. Your signature look is created from your personal style and also removes decision fatigue, because you know exactly what you want to look like and how you want to show up on camera. What I see a lot of women doing wrong when it comes to creating their signature look is either borrowing other women's signature looks or solely basing it on aesthetic, on what looks good, instead of basing it on their identity and who they are. Your image and the way that you look is communication. So your visual should be reinforcing your brand, not battling it. And that's why I created a signature look quiz that was specifically for creators, coaches, and service providers who are building an online personal brand. I'll leave the link to the quiz down below if you want to easily identify and create your own signature look. The next thing you want to do is to create or find a branded space, because everything that people see is your brand. Me sitting in my closet in all my videos is not a coincidence. It was an intentional decision. I love being a woman and everything to do with womanhood, fashion, beauty, fragrances. And I wanted a space that would communicate that and reinforce my brand of femininity. So it's not just about how you look, your outfit, your hair and makeup. When people are watching your videos, they're not just exclusively looking at you, they're looking around you, taking in your space, and every single detail in your background is communicating your brand and also creating a perception about your brand. Your branded space is essentially a glimpse into your world. So when you're creating or finding a branded space, you want to think about your brand as a whole, how you want people to feel when they're watching you, what you want to communicate as you're speaking. It's not just about having an aesthetic background or a clear background. Everything that you decide to show on camera is prime real estate and is either adding to your value or subtracting from it. The next thing you want to do is to figure out your visual framing. So that's your face, how much your body you want in the frame, and also the angle in which you're filming. Your face is the first layer of memory. It's the first thing that people look at when they watch your video. They look into your eyes, make eye contact. They're going to look and subconsciously analyze your face before they've even looked at your outfit. Rachel Rodgers has thick curly hair, which is one of her most dominant facial features. Cinna Port will wear a hijab in her color season and a bold feminine lip like red, pink, and that's part of her facial features that she repeats over and over again. So things to consider when it comes to your face are your hair, your makeup, facial expression, jewelry, or anything that you choose to maximize or enhance. And for me, I always have a curly bob that's either brown with blonde highlights or blonde with brown highlights. I always wear small gold hoops, and my makeup is minimal and natural. So whether you always use a bold eyeshadow, you always have your hair tied back into a bun, or you wear big bold earrings, this needs to be repeated throughout your content. When it comes to the framing of your video, how much of your body that you show, especially if you do talking head videos, you want to be mindful of the distance between you and your background, so you're not too close to the background so people can actually see what's happening, and also the distance between you and the camera, so you're not too close to the camera where people can't actually see what you're wearing or what's going on around you. You want people to be able to take in your outfit even if they can't see the whole thing, but think about the colors, the structure of it, style, the draping, any pattern, which have to be consistent with your signature look and your color season, and also have to be repeated throughout your video. So for example, my color season is dark autumn, so I tend to wear a lot of plum, burgundy, dark blues, greens, mustards, yellow, and I absolutely adore structure, draping, and necklines when it comes to clothes. So that's something that will always be prominent in my outfit. And then lastly, your angles. You want to make sure that you're filming in the dimensions for that specific platform. So for example, long form YouTube videos have to be filmed horizontally if you're using your phone, and then short form videos have to be filmed vertically. You want to think about angles that are most flattering to you. So if you have a really good side, or if you have a way of filming that makes your body look the best, because again, people are taking in every single detail when they're watching you. They're not just listening to what you're saying, it's a whole experience. They're entering your world. So it might seem really small or irrelevant, but these are the small details that build up your perception. The next thing you want to do is visual storytelling, where you show instead of just telling. You're taking people on a journey and giving them a visual experience of what you're talking about. This really helps with stopping the scroll, especially on short form platforms. If somebody's watching your video and they don't have the volume up and you're just sitting there with no visual elements to support the video, it's going to be more difficult for them to understand what your video is about if it's something that they need to watch. So you want to use all the visual elements that's available to you. Text on screen as a hook or to emphasize a point, videos and images to tell the story and explain what's happening as you're talking about it. For carousels where you're not talking to the camera, you want to use infographics that also captures people's attention, whether they're coming across it on their own feed, the explore page, or even on the Reels tab. You want your visual identity to be consistent and recognizable, whether you're talking to the camera, whether it's just a still image, or whether it's a carousel, where people know it's you before they've even looked at your name or heard your voice. What I see a lot of coaches, creators, and service providers doing wrong is either posting like a creator and attracting people who love their content, people who are inspired by their content, people who are curious but will never buy from them, or they're posting like a business owner, solely just focusing on the messaging, talking to a specific person, but their content is not reaching a wider audience and they're not attracting the buyers that they actually want. I started to grow my platforms, attract the right audience, and get sales when I started posting like a creator and a business owner. So yes, your visual identity is very important, but your messaging is also just as important. So if you want me to do a video on how to become authority in your industry, let me know in the comments down below. Like this video if you want to see more videos on feminine business and quiet money. Subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video. Mwah. Bye lovely.